Go, go, go. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Here's everything you guys need to know about the Trials Luxion update. So first things first, go over to the Luxion area and just make sure you do the quest line. Do the quest line, it's pretty straightforward, just go through it. And before you guys actually go through the portals, I'll kind of just go through each thing just so you guys are aware of what's going on exactly. So we have a few things over here. I'll just go left to right here. So Luxion's Pact, this is where you're gonna pick your portal. And before you even pick a portal, you have to get an unfortunate soul. And don't worry about this is just one that I currently activated, so this is my D12. And in order to get an unfortunate soul, you can go to this guy over here, and he has unfortunate souls for qubits. I'm pretty sure it's 3 a week. These reset weekly. I already got a couple. I'm pretty sure it's 3. But regardless, if you're a brand new player or a mid-game player or even an endgame player, maybe you need the star chart, maybe you need some crystal gem converters, you don't have to worry about it. There is a dragon in there, and there's the original Luxion dragon and some other mastery items. So if that interests you, go ahead and do it. There's also some Soul of the Depths from a merchant that I'll go over in a second, but that's going to be in D15. So I'll go over that in a bit, but just know that those options are there. This Luxion stuff will be here for an entire week. Then the following week, there's going to be no Luxion related stuff. And then the week after that, all of this stuff will come back. So it's going to be the same rotation as Luxion. So you'll just have to wait every other week for it to come back. And if you guys are curious, this is just the stuff in the horde. So these will rotate, and they rotate daily. So be aware of that. So if you do need some mastery items, just know that these are going to be here. So far, these 4 things have been the same exact ones. This is the new dragon. This is the old dragon. The stashes are always there. These rotate. And this has been staying so far. And in order to get these on top of the ridiculous amount of dragon coins that you need venturine signets, which these also decay. These decay, and the venturine that you're about to farm also decay. So you have 1 week to farm exactly what you need, otherwise you won't be able to do it, and you have to wait until this stuff comes back again. So make sure you use all of your venturine that you need before this goes away. I'll get into how to farm these venturines in a second, but pretty much once you get venturine, you want to convert them into these signets. These also decay, and if you just hover over it on the bottom, it tells you how much longer you have until it's completely gone. But that's what you're gonna need to craft pretty much everything in here. And you'll need 100 of these fragments. You get 15 a day, so pretty much just like the dragon's soul over here, you're not gonna be able to get it week 1. So you'll have to farm for this every single day for an entire week, and then wait for Luxion to come back, and then you can actually get it. Last thing I want to talk about, I'll get into it a little bit more, but the fragments of the unfortunate soul, you'll need these for certain buffs. I'll get into that in a second, but pretty much in order to get them, you just go through your quest line. The quests will give you the fragments, and if you really wanted to, you can convert your soul into the fragments. I don't recommend that though. And then you can also loot collect it. If you come over here to a loot collector, you can actually convert it, but you can also just craft it. It doesn't really matter. It's still going to be the same one for 100. So now that we got all that out of the way, the credits aren't too bad. Qubits, you might need them. The other way to get the unfortunate souls is the flux. It says you can craft them 500 times a day, but be careful because this number will go up. So the flux amount you need will increase. And just in case you want a reference to this entire thing, I'm going to leave a link in the description for a spreadsheet that goes over pretty much everything in this update, so you can refer to that. But either way, go ahead and craft a portal. I recommend just doing one that you can comfortably do. Now, if we're talking about like the absolute most meta, you can go to D15 if you can, and then farm the enemies there. They are stronger. It's gonna be tougher. You do get a little bit more venturine, but I recommend pretty much if you're an endgame player, you do a ton of damage, you're pretty close to max, I recommend just going to D14. You can get pretty close to one-shotting the enemies. You get a little bit less venturine, but it's a lot better. And if you're not super endgame, then just go to a difficulty you can comfortably farm in, and you can just refer to the difficulties based off of whatever difficulty you can actually farm in. I have 8.6k lights, and over here I have a D12 portal. So once you go ahead and craft whatever you need, just go through the portal, and now you're pretty much in an area that has 3 rings. And I'm gonna go over each thing here. So we have a donating area here. I would wait until you do the quest. The quest will take you through this, so don't do this until you do the quest. But the thing that you can do is you can do this quest and just do it naturally. It says that you have to kill 25 mercenaries. It'll be in your events, and you get this stuff naturally. And it says you get venturine pouches, so just more venturine. It's helpful. You might not get it on your first go, but that's okay. You're probably going to be farming this a ton anyway if you do choose to farm this. And instead of like a pouch going into your inventory, you just kind of collect it instantly. It doesn't even go into your claims. You just collect it just like this. Like your number of venturine will just go up. So don't think that you lose it or anything like that. And if you go back to the venturine forge, there's going to be a couple extra tabs. I recommend just going for the movement speed. You could go for the damage if you feel like you want the extra bit of damage. I just like having the movement speed personally, so you can pick one or the other. The other ones aren't really that helpful. I guess you can get this death insurance one. it's still not worth it. My biggest thing is don't die in here. Otherwise, you will lose venturine, and you do not want that, especially if you're farming here. So don't do /respawn and try not to die. So make sure you have death defying. The other tab is unfortunate souls. We already went over that. And then the Luxion horde. Pretty much we went over everything. They just removed an extra resource that was in here. So now it's pretty simple. Just convert your venturine into the signets. And then the signets you can use to get the stuff down here. And before we get into like what you're actually supposed to do, you can come over here to this Digsley person over here. If you can't access D15, then you can kind of just go with whatever is in here. The higher up you go in difficulties, the better stuff there will be. So if you go to D15, you're gonna get Soul Adepts. Now you can't infinitely get them, but with the Soul Adepts, I'll show you in a second what that looks like. But it is very handy. I'll let you know that right now. You'll just have to farm a ton of this venturine, and you need a lot of venturine. So in order to make progress with any of this stuff, you want to go to this dragon over here. So the basic idea is you want to defeat inner enemies, so just accept the quest. Once you finish this quest, which is going to be defeating 50 enemies in the inner area, so that's just going to be this first area, then you'll come back, it'll say do the middle area, so you'll go middle, and then you'll do the outer area. And the higher up you go, the more enemies you'll have to kill, and you get this venturine cache, which just like before, it just goes into your venturine pile. It doesn't go into your claims. It's not an extra thing you get in your inventory. It just piles onto your venturine. There's gonna be a ton of enemies, so just make sure you fight through all of them. And if you guys are curious, the mercenaries, these are gonna be the world bosses that spawn from the sky, and they're gonna be the ones that look a little bit different than your regular enemies. It's gonna be like a chicken looking thing. I can't really describe it, but it's kind of dressed in blue. It's gonna be the same in pretty much every biome. So once you finish the inner part of the quest, what you could do, instead of having to travel all the way back, is you can craft origin portals. And if you just throw it, you can just use it. Go get your quest. This is going to be for the middle enemies, so just go ahead and accept it, and you can go ahead and click show, and you can just take your portal back, and you'll make a ton more progress. Just cover more ground, and you can just go to the next area. It's a lot easier, so I recommend doing that if you can. If you do want to craft these, they're in the adventures crafting bench. And if you guys are curious, this is the mercenary right here. Very different than your traditional enemies, so that's how you can tell. I should be at 2 out of whatever it is. Yeah, 2 out of 25. You'll pretty much get that done naturally. Don't worry about finishing it right away. A couple things to know: if you guys are a little bit slow in this area, you could just do this. If you have bombs, you can just gather the enemies. That is if you don't one-shot, but pretty much you can gather the enemies with your bombs like you would in delves if you had some depth charges, and just group them up and fight them that way. Because if you didn't know, you can't do bombs. Nothing works with the bombs. You can't bomb through dungeons. The dungeons don't even work. They do work with the trees. I don't know why that's a thing, but I guess you can get blocks that way. But yeah, if you don't do a ton of damage, you can just use these bombs to bring them together, and you can just fight them, so that makes it a little bit easier. All right, now something super important. We're at 122 out of 125. If we take a look at something, I just want to show you guys, because this is very, very important. If you guys missed this, you're gonna have to wait an entire day. Everything will just go to a waste. All of your unfortunate souls will be a waste, or just the one that you did for opening the portal. But regardless, this guy over here, in order to advance, you need something called a Luxion Pact. And in order to get that, you have to defeat the final quest, which is the outer ring. Then you come back to this dragon, and I'll pretty much show you what goes on. So the Luxion Pact is very important. You need it. So if we go ahead and kill the 3 enemies that I need over here, so we just killed the enemy. As you can see, it dropped on the ground. Normally it goes into your inventory, but if you have a full inventory like I do over here, it's going to be on the ground. This is very important. You have to pick this up, otherwise you'll be cooked for the entire day until reset. So you have to get this. So you could just delete something. I'll just delete this like that, and I can just collect it. And as you can see, it just goes straight into your inventory. Normally that's what happens, but if you have a full inventory, be careful about that. So I'm just warning you guys now, because a lot of people had that issue. Just don't have a full inventory. That's simple as that. I know it's tempting. These enemies drop a ton of stuff. If you have high magic find, you'll get a ton of stellars. But once you have that Luxion Pact, you want to go all the way back to this guy, because you already completed all the quests. And now you have an option. If it's grayed out, obviously I don't have the inventory space, but I'll just fix that right now. You come back to this guy, and you can choose to either complete your trial or progress. Now this is going to be completely optional and up to you, but what I would do is, if you ran out of unfortunate souls and you don't want to get more portals, you want to do this one and progress. And when you progress, you're gonna have to go through the same exact process of doing the inner, middle, and outer rings. If your world does get full, I'm pretty sure if you stayed in it long enough, you can just go back to the hub, and your portal's gonna be there until you pick one of these. And if you did choose to progress, your portal, everything will still be there. So you can just step out, you can go shopping, you can do whatever you want to, you can go back to the hub, go farm whatever you want to, you can come back, go to that Luxion area, portal's still going to be there. And if you were in this world long enough, it might just give you a brand new one, so that's going to be helpful, because obviously you need enemies to do these quests. So if you don't have unfortunate souls and you don't want to get more, just go ahead and keep on progressing. If you do have unfortunate souls, then you can go ahead and complete it and do the next one. And by next one, I just do the highest one you can, but comfortably. So if we take a look at my venturine, I'm at 339. If I go ahead and press complete, it's gonna kick me out of this area. But as you can see on the bottom right, I got 90 venturine. And if I were in a higher difficulty, I would have gotten more venturine. So I got more venturine, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty much the gist of it. Also, one thing I didn't mention in that area is that you're kind of nerfed in a way. You're limited on your movement speed, even jump. So that's why all those buffs are over there at that Luxion bench. You're not nerfed a huge amount, but just know that if you feel a little bit off, feel a little bit slow, then that's why. And if we come back here, I do have an unfortunate soul. I'm just gonna go right back to D12. I can comfortably do it, so I'll just open a portal and we go over here, brand new portal. The thing that sucks is that you cannot invite other people and nobody can join you. It just has to be by chance. Like I just joined this random guy. Your world isn't always gonna be full. Sometimes you'll get a couple people. Sometimes after like, I don't know, 10 minutes, some random person might join. That's pretty much how it's gonna go. Hopefully your enemies don't get taken. Farming these is gonna be a massive pain, especially if you run into this problem over here.
Well, be careful. Go, go, go. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Run! Run!
Just run, just get over, just hide, just build blocks,
Oh!
Guys,
Help! Help!
Guys, I'm in the fortress, what do I do? Get out! Block, just block and
Yeah,
run.
be careful.
I'm dying! Run, George, run! Don't die again, don't die again, run, George!
There's so many mobs! What? George!
Oh my god.
There's so many
Come around the hill, go around the hill.
Just run!
Oh my god,
Guys, I'm leaving the
There's so many blades.
I'm leaving.
there's so many!
Yeah, forget this. I'm dipping.
So we're back here. I didn't finish my questline, so that's why it's telling me to do this. Otherwise, it would say to just pretty much complete all of this stuff. So I'd have to go through this again, doing the inner, outer, and middle stuff. And that is how you get venturine. Also, one thing I didn't mention is that if you fight enemies, there's a chance for them to drop venturine. Only one, but there's a chance for it to drop. So if you did want to, you can go ahead and fight as many enemies as you wanted to. So that's why I recommend just continuing on to the next area. And like I said, if you run out of unfortunate souls, then just hit increase. I'm pretty sure, I think there might be a limit to how much you can increase. I could be wrong on that, but like I mentioned before, just make sure your inventory is not full. Make sure you have spots open, just so you can get that Luxion Pact and you can actually continue. Otherwise, you're kind of screwed for the until reset pretty much. Another thing I didn't really mention, the donation stuff. This stuff rotates daily, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's different per difficulty you go to, but I do know these do rotate. This doesn't rotate, the resources do though. And just know that these will increase in price. So it'll be 1 and then it'll go higher and higher. I don't want to do it because I don't want to go through my resources, but part of the quest will tell you to do it. And there's a thing called, I think it was some kind of stash or something like that. It's pretty much like a greater dragon cache. Imagine that. Although it's not, but you open it and it pretty much just gives you venturine. It says other goodies. I don't know what the other goodies are. Maybe you can get the full dragon. I have no idea. I don't think you can. That would be cool if you can get the whole dragon egg for this dragon over here, but I don't think you can. Maybe you can get one of these random items, luckily, but I really don't know. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about this update. Like I mentioned, it is pretty intimidating. It's pretty rough. It eats up a lot of your resources, like your dragon coins, so you probably don't want to do this if you're brand new or even a mid-game player. But just know that this is an option. There are stuff in here, and it seems like you can only craft it one time, so that kind of sucks, unless you're going for the fragments, like I mentioned, or the golden horde dragon soul and stuff like that. And then you're limited on certain things in here, like you can craft 50 of these, for example. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I would imagine that the Luxion stuff, the mastery items, will go up in price, although I'm pretty sure Fluxion also has these items. So I think Gaming Go's doing this because endgamers just have a ton of dragon coins, since we don't need to use dragon coins on much apart from Luxion. And they might think we just have a ton, especially from these Skellies and Frosties when they first came out. So I'm guessing that this is their idea of, hey, let's get rid of everybody's resources this way, which is horrible because, like, it's just crazy. 90 dragon coins for this, including the venturine signets. You need to farm a ton of venturine and they decay, which is so annoying. It looks like the fragments stay, but with your unfortunate souls, it seems like you can go back and forth. So like, if you wanted the souls to go to fragments, you can do that. And then if you wanted the fragments to go back to the souls, you can do that as well, but at the cost of the 5,000 flux. But since we have the arrows in here, I'm pretty sure they don't increase, so it might just stay like that. But yeah, hopefully all that makes sense. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you all later.